Peace to all beings. Peace to all beings. Mercy for those that don't know. Mercy. Oh. We're going to give you a defense, because you're obviously aware that you're fighting evil, or at least you should be by now. So I'm going to give you your first weapon of defense. I'm going to be reading Psalm 6 from the New Testament, New International Version, only because the book is small. But I will change some of the words in this version for you that come from Young's literal translation of the Bible. And you can look it up, you can Google it and get the true force of what's going on here. But you're going to need this, at least the memory of it and the knowledge of it and the expectation of it. Peace to all beings. Psalm 6, an evening prayer for God's mercy. Psalm of David. O Lord, and that word Lord is translated into Jehovah, do not rebuke me in your anger or discipline me in your wrath. Be merciful to me, Lord, for I am faint. O Lord, heal me, for my bones are in agony. My soul is in anguish. How long, O Lord, how long? Turn, O Lord, and deliver me. This is for the spirit. Save me because of your unfailing love. No one remembers you when he is dead. Who praises you from the grave? I am worn out from groaning. All night long I flood my bed with weeping and drench my couch with tears. My eyes grow weak with sorrow. They fail because of all my foes. Away from me, all you who do evil, for the Lord has heard my weeping. The Lord has heard my cry for mercy. The Lord accepts my prayer. All my enemies will be ashamed and dismayed. They will turn back in sudden disgrace. Young's International Version says, all my enemies will be ashamed suddenly. And then the astral shame is a very big thing. So for your benefit, I would suggest you read that. Look up the Young's International Version. Read the words, and you'll find out that before they changed the Bible to say Lord, it was the name of Jehovah. Okay? Now, you're in the obvious fascination of it because of the confusion. You're seeing it on your television, in your news media. You're feeling it, the consciousness of it. Your auric fields have to adjust to what other beings, what you're picking up now, or they're thinking. Everyone's becoming very telepathic, and then the defenses start coming up. That's why it's important for peace to all beings and mercy. That's why it's important to understand that you're a spiritual being. And if you're listening to these words, you have a spiritual responsibility, not only for yourself, but for others. And that means in wise understanding. The acceptance of others and the appreciation of others, and others the same for you. You're going to find out this battle is more intense than you think it is, even. The sustenance of yourself, which is 75% water, is the vibration tone you're working with. Your birthday numbers have tonal effects. Your name has a tonal effect. Your speech has a tonal effect. Your thoughts have a tonal effect. And therefore you've manifested yourself through the tones. What has happened with the tones and the conversion into words is the confusion. The tones are the secret. You have an inner tone in your being which is called Love I Am. The little one that hides in there. It wants to love everything. It wants to embrace everything pretty much. But it only can do it in a manner as its essence in the embracing context from inside you to the expression of your flesh. In other words, you're being embraced from inside by the love of your being. You are. No one else. Your inner being is loving you because you have a body. You've got to learn to treat it right. And all this cancer thing and all these negative thoughts with beings committing suicide and everything, that's not you. That's not the loving little one. No. And you've been told that cancer is a spiritual disease. You were told that by Edgar Casey. Prayer is the cure. Surrender is the cure. Understanding the nature of your divine self, loving you from inside out, fleshing yourself, and enjoying the presence of it. And then there's an embodiment type of thing. Once you understand that you're in you, you can hug a tree, and the tree responds, and you'll know it. And you become very sensitive to the vibration of flowers. You'll begin to see people's faces in flowers because it begins to show their true essence of the one holding the flower. Thoughts are things, entities. And you're going to find out that more important is feelings of things. You're going to have to control your feelings and your expressions. You're going to have to learn to back up into yourself in the solar plexus, contact the energy forces that are coming through your spine, the fluidic forces, which is the love of God moving. God moves. He's everywhere, every when. And the movement of God is the love that's within you. That's why it's important to drink water. You're 75% water. That's 75% of your consciousness vibrating, expressing itself or having the desire to express itself with the wants and all of those other things, little petty human ego things. The ego developed itself because it figured out it had a body. The inner part of you already knew you had a body. Now you've got to get the two working together, literally, because you're in this spatial time context of good versus evil. You're in the spatial context, spatial time context of good versus evil. Until you get true understanding, you still don't know what you're doing. You're practicing. You're practicing. You need to learn to breathe consciously with words. And what you're doing when you breathe consciously with words, by that I mean, you think a word, you breathe it in, the vibration goes through the water, and you see how long it takes to have the manifestation of that word. And you'll get your timing down. And you'll understand the energy on the left side of your body, the right side of your body, the middle part of your body, the pelvic part of your body, the back part of your body, your head. You find out that the kingdom of heaven is its crown chakra. And you're going to find out the earth chakra is right at the back of what you could term your atlas, your back of your skull there. That's the earth energy coming up, trying to reach the crown. It's being pushed in a manner up in you by the little one in there. They're pushing this frequency up a shaft. And it's coming up to your head now. And you're going to feel it particularly from the solar plexus up to the heart chakra. And as it gets to the head, it wants to see or observe, or what you would say, experience these presence above itself, around itself and things, and move into a bliss place of thankfulness for that acknowledgement and allowance of it. Because you have to practice. And you're going to find out that you are literally a walking meditation. You are a walking meditation by the little one in you that's beginning to express yourself in a loving manner, that understands the difference between good and evil, and knows what is termed the knowledge of self, as you would say, how say you? I am me, I guess you would say. You've got a me and you've got an I. And I mean the letter I, which is the personality, persona, perfection. The me thinks it knows everything. The I knows what it doesn't know. And it's becoming an expression of yourself. And if you begin to understand the I and the energy of it, because in the beginning was the word, but before the word there was the vibration of it. So the I am that I am came from. That vibration is the stick in your spine. And you're going to find part of your spiritual divinity looks a little bit like a praying mantis from inside. You're a creature of wisdom and wonder. And it's time now to begin to understand that. There are a lot of beings now trying to be peacocks, squawking all the time, showing off things, but doing nothing. They're the background to your performance, to your doing, to your isness. They are background. They're not foreground. They have no idea who you are, or what you can do, or what you want to do. And they don't care. The good understands the good in itself. The good understands the good in others. And the good begins to appreciate the good in everything, little by little. But the enemy is already aware of good. And that's why he doesn't like those words, Hail Mary. They wound him. He goes away. There's a reason those prayers were given. This has been a battle for a long time. Now you're in the culmination of it. Why? Because you're in the knowledge of it. That's why. You might not have thought you wanted to be in it, but you are. Part of you knew how to do this, or you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't even be listening to this. I would have already discussed some of you. The purpose is for protection. Peace, protection, and joy for you and your family. And within that peace, protection, and joy, you have the capacity and ability, if you wish, to learn. What I suggest to start your learning process is read the Psalms. There's 150 of them. You can spread them out daily for protection, or you can gather 3 or 4 together, and they'll assemble as guardians at your portals, like pillars, gateways, because the Psalms build the fort, and you are living within your fort. Calmness and this understanding is needed. Inner reflection in this understanding is needed, because there's power in the Psalms. They activate a force that you're beginning to understand that is within you and without you. They communicate with that force, you would like to call it. But it's much more than that. It's part of you that gave you you in a loving, gentle manner called the Father. And when you read the Psalms, you're communicating with that entity. Even though his words, first 20 or so are from David, and he was chosen. So that's how this works. Prepare yourselves, entities. Peace and blessings to all beings. Mercies to all ones. Reflections on the inner divinity of yourself. And remember Psalm 6, especially verse 10, where all your enemies will be ashamed suddenly. And it's the word this way: may all my enemies be ashamed suddenly. And it's given permission from what you term the Lord God Jehovah. And that's not a name you go throwing around, because the minute you mention it, he shows up. What? So you have to be careful. And that's why it was changed to Lord. That's for inner wisdom entities. Peace to all beings. Mercy. We are through.